You know that one person whose words have shaped your entire outlook on life? For me, that person is a mentor I discovered 30 years ago. Her wisdom has been a constant companion, bringing me both joy and guidance, except for one quote that haunted me for decades. It challenged everything I thought I knew about belonging, love, and freedom. Today, I'm going to share how I finally made peace with it. And trust me, this journey might just change how you see yourself and your place in the world. Let's talk about that quote. She said, "You're free when you belong nowhere." And that single statement pissed me off. I spent years grappling with it. As a social scientist, I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that belonging is essential. With over 200,000 pieces of data under my belt, I can tell you this for sure. In the absence of love and belonging, suffering is inevitable. So how could she say that freedom comes from belonging nowhere? I wrestled with this idea for years. For me, belonging meant having a crew, a community, people you could count on. You negotiate that sense of belonging with others, right? It's all about finding your tribe. But hold on a second. If you've ever tried to negotiate belonging by changing who you are, how's that working out for you? Then I dug deeper. Turns out I had only heard part of the quote. The full version? She was asked, "So, do you belong to no one?" And she replied, "I belong to Maya." It clicked. True belonging isn't about fitting into external groups. It's a spiritual practice. It's about the ability to find sacredness in both being a part of something and having the courage to stand alone when necessary. And that's the real challenge, isn't it? Having the guts to stand alone when you know it might cost you your place in the group because your truth doesn't align with theirs. That's the mark of true belonging. Standing in your truth, even when it feels like you're on an island. But what does it really mean to stand alone and still belong? We're getting to that. As I explored this more, I realized our worth, our sense of belonging, it's not something we negotiate with others. It's something we carry inside ourselves. If I have to change who I am just to fit in with you, then I don't belong to myself anymore. And let me tell you, I spent 30 years doing that. No more. I refuse to betray myself like that ever again. And that's where this journey took me. Belonging isn't about seeking evidence that you fit in. It's about trusting yourself enough to know that you belong, with or without the approval of others. In my leadership work, I talk about personal values, and for me, those values are faith and courage. People tell me not to bring faith into the corporate world, but I've sat across from thousands of people sharing the hardest things you can imagine, and two things always show up: cussing and praying. So if you don't want me to cuss or pray, that's fine. Just ask someone else. I'm not here to pretend to be something I'm not. I mean, if I can't cuss or pray, are we even having a real conversation here? Now, when I speak to an audience, I don't put on a performance. I show up as myself. I'm there to talk about things that most people are afraid to address. And to do that, you need to see me as real, as someone who's willing to walk into the wilderness of uncertainty and fear. This brings me to a powerful practice from my journey. Don't walk through the world looking for evidence that you don't belong or that you're not enough, because you'll always find it. Your worth, your belonging, it comes from within. So what does this mean for you? Are you living a life where you belong to yourself, or are you constantly negotiating that with others? If you want to dive deeper into this idea of true belonging and how it can transform your life, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications and let's continue this journey together. Remember, you belong to yourself. At the end of the day, true belonging is about showing up authentically, whether you're standing with others or standing alone. Trust yourself. You are enough and you belong.